My whole life, I don't get no respect. No respect from anyone.
My name is HyperX Garland. Here with Shamar and Andrew today, members of S.O.C. So I'll let y'all introduce yourselves. You got it, bro.
My name is Shamari, half of S.O.C. I'm a producer and musician.
I'm Drew, other half of S.O.C. Trying to be like him with the musician, but I'm just a producer right now.
We're both trying to be like Shamar. Get that talent.
Telling you.
You play the piano and everything. Alright, so I guess my first question for y'all is like, what is S.O.C? What does that stand for?
You want to?
S.O.C. stands for Sound Over Currency. Um, it's an acronym that we came up with. You know, it kind of just describes our outlook on the music and why we do it. A lot of people do it for the money. We do it for the music. That's why we sound better than everybody else.
Facts.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So like, what are y'all working on now? For like either if it's S.O.C. or if it's like individual, like what do y'all have going on here?
Individually, even the stuff we do individually is still linked to S.O.C. together, right? So if he goes and does his own thing, I know that whatever he's doing is gonna come right back full circle to what S.O.C. is trying to build. Um, as for stuff that we actually doing, I know myself. I'm working on developing my sense of music and broadening my like the spectrum in which like I listen to music. So like uh, everything from getting into new genres to like playing new instruments. I like to challenge myself, so that's definitely some individual stuff that I've been doing lately.
Uh, I'm in a couple bands, so you know, I perform with those bands, and we perform with artists, and so it's pretty much the thing where SOC is a producer collective, but we do our own individual work too. Um, Sometimes, I mean, a lot of times we collaborate on stuff, but we also do a lot of our individual work. But it's still SOC, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of the artists that I produce for, he also produced for. And if not right now, then at some point, obviously, it's gonna happen. So
All right.
I'm a Howard University student. Shout out Howard.
Hampton. It's all about Hampton.
I ain't got my merch on right now, but I'm a Morgan student.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talent up there at Howard. A lot of talented singers, other musicians as well. There's a couple rappers that I work with up there as well. So that's just kind of what I've been on individually, really.
It's nice. So, Andrew, you say you're learning like instruments and stuff. Like, which instrument do you like want to like learn, or like if you want to incorporate into your music more?
Um, I've been trying to get back into the electric guitar. I kind of dabbled with it a little bit a few years back. Never really got back into it. Um, Trying to get him to teach me how to play the drums. He been ducking that for a minute. Uh, for me, the keys is something that I've always been able to kind of improvise on, but not at a musically correct level. So I'll probably just try to go ahead and improve on that. Um, Really, anything I can get my hands on if I'm interested in. Like, I'm open to. I don't think there's an instrument I'm not open to learning how to play.
Nice. So, what have y'all produced lately? Like, which artists have you worked with? Like, where can we hear your music? Like, which beats have you made lately?
Um, we have a couple artists that we mainly work with, and then there's an artist that every once in a while will produce something for them. But I mean, off the top of my head, the main artists we've worked with recently are Ajwa. She's a singer and rapper, and Afrobeats artist. Um, then there's Bird. He's a DMV rapper, like a DMV rap artist, but he's starting to expand his style to even be beyond that. But that's kind of where his head is at now with it.
Mm.
Then I have a New Jersey artist that I met at Howard. He goes by the name of Fresh G's. Um, we've been working with him a lot as well. So there's a couple other singers at Howard that we've been uh, working with too, but nothing is released yet. So when stuff gets released, y'all will see it.
Nice, nice.
Can't really say too much right now
Gotta
until
keep it
it's
secret.
released. Yeah.
So what genres do y'all want to like get into? Like, cause I know you like you have a very diverse background for like piano and stuff, and like on the project we have over there, you made it like a tropical house kind of thing. Like which like genres do y'all want to get like more into and producing? Like,
To be honest, me and this guy, we done made everything from house music to trap. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything we can't make right now, as it stands.
Yeah.
It's really just a matter of what we feeling that day, and that's not to be cocky or nothing. We just really we on that type time.
Yeah, it comes from listening. We both listen to a diverse range of music. Um, and so when you listening to all that stuff, you're able to reproduce it. So like he said, we make EDM stuff, house stuff. You mentioned the tropical like dance hall thing, of course, trap music, R&B. We just kind of do everything because that allows us to work with as many people as possible.
mm,
Um, and obviously, the more people you can work with, the larger your name can be, and the greater likelihood that stuff is gonna take off.
hmm so yeah, you said working with like having diverse like genre that you can produce like means you can work with more artists. So like, is that the plans for SOC? Like just to work with more artists, or like is there like a certain goal in mind that y'all have for this to be?
Our goal, which is mentioned in our name, is to make good music. Whether that music be in jazz genre or rap or pop, if it's good music, it meets our goal, and that's what we want people to understand.
Like make good music. That's nice.
Right.
So everybody does that, but that's pretty sick, you know. To actually like have your name like that, like that's pretty sick. That's nice. So when did you start SOC? Like who said let's start this? Like who's first?
Um, I think I vaguely remember. I'm not sure if you remember. We was in your basement. We was in his basement right here one day. Uh, and he was showing me that he be making beats, and we was kind of like at that point I wasn't very familiar with the software that we use now, and I was kind of like tossing him like things to throw onto the beat that we were making. And I think I'm not sure if this is how it went. I think I suggested to you that we should really try to do this. And just so people know, it wasn't like this like straight up at first. The first time me and him started realizing we made beats, we were doing this for a while, so we realized like it actually sounded good. Like this is something that we could actually get better at. It's not something that's just like a dream or an idea far in the distance anymore. It's like something that's real that we can build on, and that's exactly what we did. Um, we started it. It took us a really long time to come up with a name we liked, but we here now. So
Nice.
Yeah, we were just trying to find some type of acronym or whatever, a group name that describes what we're trying to do, and so and that rolls off the tongue well. And so that's how we came up with SOC. We came up with it right here in this basement. Um, but yeah, like he said, that's how it started. For real. We just started working, and then it was like, well, we might as well just make a group. The amount of stuff that we be working on together. So that's how it happened.
That's sick. So y'all gonna have like an SOC album or something like with like other
Definitely.
artists and stuff?
Definitely.
the
It's,
vault
yeah,
is
the vault is pretty.
it's full.
Yeah. So sooner than later, we will release an SOC album.
Nice.
and it'll have all the artists that we work with on there. So it's gonna be a hard album to
It's gonna be
knock
something
off.
to listen to.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Look
lot of
out for
different
that.
stuff on there. So
So this is like a bigger question, like individual question. It's
mhm.
like, which artist do you like dream to work with? Like, who do you really want to work with? Like, who's that artist for you?
You go first.
uh, that's something I never really thought of. I mean, there are people that I do want to work with, but an artist, I would probably say, off the top of my head, I'll probably say Young Thug, just because he's pretty diverse
It's gonna be a
as
little tough.
well. You said what?
It's gonna be a little tough.
I mean, yeah, when he get out, when he gets out. But that is he is one of my favorite artists, and I feel like um, our styles could merge pretty well. He's a diverse and very creative, thinking outside the box type of artist, and I think I share a lot of those similar qualities. So I think the stuff that we make will be crazy.
For me, I'll say, uh, I'll say Chief Keef. He's somebody that really inspires the grimy, hard, creative side of when I make music, especially on the rap side. But not only on the rap side, even like dancehall and Afro beats, which you might be like, what do Chief Keef got to do with that? But it's not even about that. It's the fact that he's really versatile, and I know that if I can make something similar to what he be making, I might be able to incorporate it and mix it up with different genres to get artists that may not be comfortable out their comfort zone and be able to create something that blends two genres you would never expect to be blended. Um, Also, everybody knows I really like his music. I listen to it all the time, so it'd be cool. It'd be cool to work with him.
That's pretty nice. Like you said, like taking that hard, like grimy sound from Chief Keef and blend it, put in like another genre or something, kind of like sound over currency. Just
Yeah,
as long as it sounds good, you know,
that's what we going for.
right? That's pretty sick, actually. And next question, like we're here in Maryland, so like, what do y'all want to become like the face of the DMV? I was interviewing the guy the my last interview. He said like, there's no real face of the DMV. Is that something like y'all would want to be?
You
Um,
go first.
yeah, my answer to that would be personally, in terms of being the face of something, that implies like a lot of fame, which is not really my goal to be famous. I don't really like all the attention and that type of thing anyway, but I do want to be, we do want to be, uh, when you want to hit and you want some good music, anybody in the DMV, you're coming to us for
Mm,
that. There's that side of it, and then also there's a lot of lacking right now in the DMV in terms of people working together and the DMV having a platform. You have places like Atlanta where people go to Atlanta to start their careers.
right.
People leave the DMV and go to Atlanta or LA, these places
Mm-hmm.
to because there's more resources there, there's more opportunities there, and it didn't just get like that overnight. Somebody created that. You know what I'm saying? When you're looking at Atlanta, you're looking at people like Jermaine Dupri that started that whole scene, that hip hop scene in Atlanta. So I want to do that here in the DMV because I know the DMV has so much talent and there's so much creativity and it's very diverse here in terms of the artists musically and visually, just everything. There's a lot of talent here and the
Mm-hmm.
world like doesn't know right now. So I do want, I guess you could say, be the face of the DMV in that sense. Um, just elevating the DMV in terms of its status on the
Mm,
map. Kind of put it on the map type of thing.
right.
That,
Right.
that's the bottom line.
He mostly spoke for me, but again, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind being the face of the DMV, but that's not why I'm doing this. Fame doesn't interest me in the slightest. I could really care less about being famous or anything like that. which is why, like, for example, let's say he wanted to be like, when you think S.O.C, you think of his face or you think of him. That's something that wouldn't bother me, simply because as long as me and him know what we bring to the table, what we bring, the 50-50 to S.O.C,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter. So, go ahead.
So y'all want to be the, I guess, the creators of like the new Atlanta in DC kind of.
Nah, not the new Atlanta, the DMV. I don't
Right.
want it to be seen as us trying to be like somebody else. Nah, we trying to take all the talent that's here, the surprising, not surprising, but the enormous amount of talent that's just sitting here, and we trying to open the door that's been closed for so long.
And it's a culture thing too that I forgot to say. The DMV, we have our own unique culture. You know, when you go to other places, for example, like Atlanta, they have their own culture there. They have their own slang, their own way of dress. The artists have a similar sound a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
They have an accent when they talk. That's how you know they're from there. The DMV has all of that, like a lot of other places do. I'm using Atlanta as an example because right now they're at the top of the game. But that's another thing too. We already have our own culture, so we don't need to like make anything or try to purposely be unique. It's already here. It's just not as known by the rest of the world right now. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. So how are y'all gonna try like incorporate that into your music? Does it be like through who you work with, or like when you post on social media? Like, how are you gonna show that we got? How are you gonna show the culture?
Definitely think through who we work with. Like, a great example of that is Bird. The reason that I decided to start working with Bird is we had, I think this is the first time me and him had a real sit down conversation, and I started to realize his mindset wasn't like a lot of, or I should say 99% of these rappers that are from here. He had a whole other motive, a whole other idea, a whole other vision for what he wanted in the future. Um, so that really inspired me to like see something beyond him in the future, the same way he was seeing something beyond me, beyond himself in the future. Um, he's a great example because he's a DMV artist, but even though you could tell from when he rapping, you can also tell that he's separated from the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that sticks out about him, and that's something that you want to look for, and that's what I mean by show it through the artist. Like, we're gonna make a beat, you could tell it's a S.O.C beat because it's crazy, and you could tell Bird just ripped it because he's Bird, and it's not gonna sound the same. You could take somebody that sound exactly the same as him, they could be from here, they could rap, they're not gonna sound the same as him, and that's what we're looking for.
There's that, and then also using our platform. Um, once our once S.O.C, the name S.O.C starts to get more elevated and it starts to get more attention, not just from the DMV, but around the country especially.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be working with a lot of artists that are not from here, but that'll only be to expand our outreach to over there. You know, it's really going to be invested back here. A lot of other places, their artists invest back in the city.
Right.
But
Right.
here, people just leave. They start to make it and they leave and they go somewhere else
Mm-hmm.
instead of investing back, building studios back here. You know what I'm saying? Creating opportunities for the artists here. Not a lot of that happens. So that's a way that I see us elevating the DMV is using our platform to reinvest in the DMV. Make it really something. Because right now, people are doing their thing, but everybody's doing their thing on their own.
Right. Right.
There's not a lot of connection between the artists and between the creatives.
So that kind of gets me into another question about like what your plans for the future. So like you said, mentioning like record labels and studios, is that something y'all like want to create? Like,
Nah, I mean, from the people I know that are in the industry, have been in the industry, have worked in the industry, record labels are a red flag. if anything, if we were to do something like that in the future, I'd say it'd be to change the image of that. You understand what I'm saying? That a
Mhm.
record label should not be somewhere that you're looking at with a side eye. It should be a safe
Right.
haven. You get what I'm saying?
Right, where you can
Um,
expand.
but in terms of us and record labels, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that it's something that we're looking to get into because this is something that we want to be tied to us and us only, and that's something that can change in the future, and it's something that we got to discuss. As time passes on, as we develop our careers. But that's right now. I'm not sure if you agree on that or you got a different take, but
Yeah, I
um,
mean, it's our name and the way we work is sound over currency. Record labels are focused on money. You know,
right,
they're not really focused on the sound of the music, making good music. They're focused on making money.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes against what we're about. Not to say that we won't ever work with a label or anything like that, but it would have to be under certain circumstances.
So I know we just talked a little bit about S.O.C, but like I guess individually, just what are your big term goals, like long term goals from now? Like where do you want to be individually?
what you mean,
Like what do you want for your future? Like you keep doing this music thing. Where do you want to be?
I
Like
want
just
to
as an individual.
I want to be in a place that I'm happy with, that I'm proud with. You know what I'm saying? You can never stop improving, and that should be motivation in life. To always look for ways to innovate yourself, others, things around you. That's how we progressed to where we are now. Uh, Making music is something that I love to do. I don't get tired of music, and I say one of my goals is to make sure that by the time we 30, 35, good music is still around. Because for example, I don't know if y'all saw the double XL list for this year. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't want that to be a regular thing, because then people gonna start to forget what good music sounds like, and I don't want that to happen. Another goal for me is I want to achieve a place for myself where I can elevate those around me. Right now, I'm not in a position where I don't have a platform where I can elevate those around me, but I'm working to get there. We working to get there, honestly.
Um, for myself, long term goals. I mean, really, it would just be to do what I'm doing right now, just on a bigger scale. I still want to be performing um, with my band, and if it's not the same band now, then whatever band later. I'm sure by that time I'll be playing with even more people, but it'll be that performing, just producing for this artist that I'm producing for now, and other ones, just living comfortably off the music. That's really all I would really want to do. Um, yeah, it doesn't. Not too much more than that. I don't really want
Keep
too
it
much. I
simple.
just want to be able to live comfortably off performing and producing.
Nice. So I think Baby Tron deserved to be on that list. I'm gonna say that.
No, I ain't say the whole list was
No.
bad. Let me clarify that. But I'm not gonna say no names. Y'all know that list was food. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, and like, just what advice would you give to like people just starting out in like music, like producing, or like forming their own collective?
Consistency. Best advice I can give. You stay consistent. It's inevitable you gonna improve.
Yes.
This is not like sports where if you consistent but you practicing the wrong stuff, you gonna just never improve. Nah, you consistent with music. Thing is, it ain't no blueprint. You express yourself in the music and it come out how it come out. And with time, somebody can give you little tips to improve things, but you the one that's gonna make the music sound good, not them. Cause once they make the music sound good, it's not yours anymore.
Right.
Um, Advice I would give to somebody starting off in music, I would just say like you gotta. I would tell them to think, because a lot of people start and they do this and they're not thinking. They don't think like about the time that it takes, the commitment, um, the discipline, the frustration. There's a lot of things that people don't think about. They just think I'm gonna just make beats and then like,
You're famous.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
Mhm.
that's not how it works. And to be creative, be yourself, because everybody out here is trying to sound like somebody else, and we're losing originality and uniqueness in music because everybody is looking up on YouTube how to make a Metro Boomin type beat. Now everybody trying to sound like Metro Boomin. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just learn how to use the software. It's okay to have inspirations because, like we both mentioned, we have inspirations in the music, of
Right.
course. But that influences our own unique style. Like Andrew was saying before, Chief Keef influences his style.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Keef does not make Afro beats, but he does. He's just saying Chief Keef influences that. I have my own influences. So that would be my main thing because I see that as a problem, um, where a lot of people are lacking right now is individuality. Everybody sound the same, so you can't expect to make it if you sound the same as everybody else. Because why would you make it and they don't? You know what I mean?
Why would you want to sound like everybody else?
That as well.
I say this on top of what he just said, and I just said sprinkle some ambition in there. We only got to where we are today from ambition, going out and getting what we looking for. A lot of the artists we work with, if there wasn't initial contact on our end, it may never have happened. Not to say it wouldn't never have happened, but it's possible that it may never have happened.
Right.
So you want to be ahead of the race.
Right. Well, that's all I had, honestly. Y'all want to say anything else?
Don't sleep on us now, because when we get up there, that's when they gonna.
Do your
That's
homework.
gonna come back to you.
Do your homework.
We gonna look back at this interview and be like, damn, look where we came from.
I'm telling you, bro.
But yeah, now we
That's
have
the beginning.
nothing too much to say. This is also a very talented
Yeah,
producer.
don't be humble now, bro.
Yeah, don't be humble now. He be on that.
Yeah, you'll see us at the top.
Word.
All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Make sure it's recording too, first of all.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, no, it's recording.